Hey, we're not live. Hurry up. Hello. Very good.
Actually, I think we are live. Hello, hello.
Oh, hello.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Don't worry, this is 74, not 73. Very good.
Are you sure?
I don't know. You seem
Well,
to think it is, so.
Last week said 73, so I think it's 74.
Well, I was
Very
thinking we
good.
were going to go back to 72, but...
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get back to 70. We'll redo
The
it,
episodes are getting smaller now as we go.
Yeah.
Do
Very
more.
good.
That's
Imagine
right.
if you actually started from like 100 and just counted backwards, did it the opposite way.
We end up getting to like episode negative 70.
Yeah. Very good.
Did you guys see the DDoS attack on Buzzsprout?
Yeah, on
It's a good thing We're
Buzzsprout.
not on them right now.
Yeah. They are not in a good place today. That's for sure.
No,
Yeah.
they're not. Okay, well, it seemed to be live, so... Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of the Blind Tech Guys podcast. This is episode number 74. My name is... Oh, thank you. I guess we're live now. My name is Nimmer, and I'm coming to you today from California. Today is February the 21st. Is that what it is today? Yeah, 21st, or whatever date is when you actually listen to it. 22nd in a lot of parts of the world. Anyway, we're very glad to be here, and I'm located to you today in, I don't know, what's one of our new countries? Somalia or something? Yeah, something like that.
Is it?
Yeah, I'll have to get a list of our latest countries. But anyway, I've got a few people with me today. Hello, people.
Hello.
Well, good
Hello.
afternoon from down under. It's the 22nd. I just had a look at the date. I didn't realise we were already that far through the month, Nim. Sheesh.
Yes.
22nd of Feb. Well, in about a week and a half's time, I will be getting my floors done. And that's come up very quickly. So there
Very
you
nice.
go. Getting nice
getting your
hardwood
floors done,
floors.
huh?
Yeah. Get rid of the carpet. Time for the carpet to go kish kish. Which will be fantastic.
Oh, so what are you going to put in? Mud?
Yeah, I go for the mud clay. You like?
Adobe.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'll settle for wood. Wooden floorboards are nice, so which would be good. But yeah, very good to be with everyone as per usual, and not a huge amount happening today. Really, it's a nice, pleasant day. Can't really complain, and I'm not coming to you from Venezuela this week, so.
Oh, that's
yeah.
good. You're from
It's a
down
nice
under, I
change.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I'd just come from my own home today. Something different, you know.
Well, we've got a number of things that we're going to discuss today. We're going to be talking mostly about screen readers. We have some news, of course, and we'll be talking about Narrator. I'll be demoing Narrator. So we'll be talking about how to use that. We'll be talking about Nvda, and we'll be talking about JAWS. I also want to welcome our new nations that have joined us. Let's see, we've got Austria that has joined us. We've got Bulgaria that has joined us, so welcome to Bulgaria. We've got a number of these. Let's see, I'm having to go through these. Czech Republic. We've got a Gambia, so welcome to Gambia.
Oh, very nice.
We've got, sort of making sure that I've got all of these. Is that it? Let me see. I'm just making sure here.
I think that's it. I haven't seen any other ones unless I missed something. I think there's only a few today.
Just making sure here. Oh, hello, ring, ring.
It sounds too much like my work phone.
Yep, that would be it. So those countries that I mentioned, welcome. to the podcast. We're very
So are you
glad that
from
you're with us.
Gambia today, Nimmer?
Yes, I'm from Gambia. Oh, yeah. I don't know if that's actually what their accent sounds like, but
I want to be from Bulgaria.
you Bulgaria. Oh, very good.
And I have to say, Nim, I'm very happy to see that our Australians seem to have come back in some sort of fashion, which is good. I was very unhappy last week. Was it last week or the week before? I'm starting to lose track of the weeks now, but it was one of the weeks. But we seem to have had the Aussies come back, which is nice. So welcome back. Hopefully you have subscribed, which would be good. Very good.
Now, I want to thank the 5 people that so far we have listening. So thank you very much. If you like this podcast, you enjoy hearing us, please hit the like button, share, subscribe. Also, feel free to visit our website and send us along a donation. Okay,
Indeed.
so let's start here with what's new in the news. Yeah, the first article here, Google, Facebook, and Twitter. Uh-oh, they're going to Congress
Again.
again.
Yeah, this is nothing new, is it really? I mean, apparently they're all... Congress is not very happy with Facebook, Twitter, or Google and the way that they have, I guess, put some news articles out. I suspect this has probably come out mostly to do with the Mr. Trump's eventual demise. I'm guessing this is all around that somehow.
So this is more like about how they handle misinformation and disinformation. For example, when people put up misinformation about COVID-19 vaccines, things like that. So, yeah, they'll be going to Congress to talk about that. I'm not very happy with this. I actually think that Congress needs to leave them the hell alone, personally, because I think it's up to each person to post what they want. I think Google, Facebook, and all them, all they do is provide the platform. They're providing the platform so that somebody can post whatever it is that they feel like posting. Now, this is not like, we're not talking about misinformation or disinformation that is, we're not talking about harassment or bullying or something like that. We're talking about, someone thinks that something is different than reality, or some facts of something, or somebody thinks that vaccines are bad, or whatever it is. And I'm not sure.
Well, who are we to tell people that their information is wrong? That's what I'm saying.
Does society
I
truly
don't know.
need that much policing? And then more so, how does Facebook, Google, and all that? How does any company, I guess who is it up to? Like, you have to sit there and go through every post and this is bad information. Like,
well, actually, Nim, I actually think that, for example, Facebook in particular, because they seem to be the ones that are most portrayed with this, I actually think they're going to heavy-handed with this sort of stuff. I mean, you shouldn't really be policing. Something that might be normal to you might not be normal to somebody else. I think I completely agree. I think they're going a little bit too full on into this.
That's a very loaded opinion. I mean, I agree too, but that's a very controversial opinion, especially in the States these days. It seems to be, at least among my friends, most people are being like the congressman quoted in the article who are saying industry self-regulation has failed, and they're wanting more. So it almost seems like our opinion's in the minority these days, at least here in the States.
Yeah, I think it's a very slippery slope. Once you start regulating on these things, then it kind of, I don't know, it could go anywhere, and it gets very difficult to not regulate. So,
well, and I don't think they even enforce their own standards consistently.
Yeah.
But, that's a whole...
I think, like, politics has driven these tech companies. You never know. So every time there's a new president, or every time there's a new Congress or new party in office, then you have to change your rules. Like, this is absolutely... I think it's getting on the borderline being ridiculous. And I don't think that just because I post vaccines are bad, that means that you shouldn't take vaccines. By the way, I don't think vaccines are bad. Listeners, please don't believe it. I don't actually think vaccines are bad. But
and the other problem with doing this sort of stuff,
if I did think they were bad and I shouted it, and I went on a podcast full of 2,500 listeners a month, and I said vaccines are terrible, does that mean that you shouldn't take vaccines? No.
And the other thing with doing this sort of stuff as well is that if if you start regulating this stuff, it drives it more into the background, into other platforms that don't regulate, or platforms that aren't known, and that's how you get the sort of underbelly or the underworld of the internet. And I don't know.
It is.
I think it's better to have any opinion out there more available. It's a lot easier to track these sorts of things. I just think I don't know. I think it's the wrong way to do things. I think over-regulation is a big problem.
People can just debate it. If you don't agree with something,
if you don't agree, you don't agree. Exactly. Yeah.
We can have more Facebook debates.
Yeah, but hasn't Congress got better things to do with their time? Seriously, why would you waste, I don't know, maybe a week on this sort of stuff? I don't know. Seems a bit pointless to me, but anyway, that's what they're doing. So, happy days.
Don't get me wrong. If they can clean up Facebook so there's not a lot of misinformation, it might make the platform a little bit better to use. A little bit, you actually get more reliable information. I'm not saying whatever, but I think the whole idea of Facebook is that people post whatever they want to post, and I don't think the company should get in the business of censorship.
Well, and then if it goes not just from Facebook, but to Google, like what people are finding when they search on Google, because most people don't search anywhere else, that's a slippery slope right there too.
That's it. What's the point? What's the difference between that and the Chinese putting up their firewall? We talk about the Chinese firewall. What's the difference at this point?
Yeah. Well, if you're going to start over-regulating like that, you're essentially putting up a wall, really.
That's it.
That's what you're doing. So, anyway.
I'm going to read this comment here real quick, and then we'll move on to the next article. All kinds of technology. Hello. Hi there. And he wants to know what's new in today's podcast. Yeah, we addressed that in a little bit earlier, but we'll let you know. We're going to be talking about... We're going to be talking about screen readers once we get through the news section, so we're glad that you're here, and thank you very much for joining us. Looks like Google I lost somebody because they didn't like my opinion. We have 4 listening now, so very good.
Very good.
I like that.
So Google Chat gets Hangouts and all sorts of other features, apparently.
Seems like this has been in the works for a while, and then they're going to change it again in a month.
Well, they're putting Gmail in. I think they're trying to consolidate the whole thing into one from the looks of it. I haven't really read this article very thoroughly as yet, but let's have a look here.
Oh, very bad. Well, the idea is that Gmail is going to be your new home for things like chatting and meetings. And they've already started this process. As Kurt said, we have Google Meet now as part of Gmail. So you can actually, connect to a meeting. And it seems like chat is joining that mix. So...
I actually think this is a good thing. You're just combining the whole thing into one. Kind of makes sense, really.
Yeah.
So that's essentially
I'm not so sure I like it. I think it gets too cluttered. If people want to do their email, they do their email. Like, if you want to do a meeting, you go to a meeting. You want to do a chat, you do a chat. Like, what's the difference, really, between a chat and an email? I guess it's more real time, but what? I don't know. To me, it's
are they doing like the meet.google.com or chat.google, or are they just going to put it all into one space and then you've got to pick what you got to do? How they sort of... Do you know much about it?
I think at this point, this article is saying both, and so, when you're in Gmail itself, you can actually, you can right now create a new meeting, for example, within Gmail.
Yeah.
And in your mobile app, you have a Meet tab at the bottom. So you can actually join a meeting that way.
Yeah.
And it seems like this article is saying chat is similar to that. So
that is nice on the enterprise side. Like, my work does Google Chat a lot, and it is nice to not have to have as many tabs open.
Yeah, I guess. I just think, if you just want to check your email, it just gets to be too much. But, I guess people seem to like it, so...
Yeah.
New iOS 14.5 is adding some new things like scribble support. Oh, yeah, you get to scribble. Very nice.
Yeah. Do you like scribbling?
I would if they actually gave you a pen like the Note 5, the Note devices, Samsung's Note devices, but you have to pay an extra $100 to get a pen, and I'm not even sure that the iPhone supports it.
I hope that pen doesn't break after a short amount of use. $100
supports it, but I'm not sure the iPhone does.
Okay.
What are they calling that? The iPencil or something?
They do have an Apple Pencil. That's what it's called.
I have to say, I think out of all the pens, though, and there was an article actually that did appear in the last week, but I didn't include it in this week's show. I think the Samsung one's always been pretty good. That pen, quite a handy little tool.
So
Samsung
Scribble
pen.
looks like it's getting some new languages, and that's what they're talking about in this article. So if you have the Apple Pencil, you can use Scribble to write out things like text message or whatever, and it's getting new languages support.
Hey, they've got
So-
Portuguese, very good, and French.
Yep, German,
Yeah.
French, Italian. Yep. So very nice.
Apparently the
There are some new
iOS
updates
sheet
too.
is being updated as well. It's saying in here, Nim.
Yep.
Improved subscriptions.
Oh, okay, they're just doing a couple of subtle word changes as well, which is all very interesting. Like per week, 2 week, or something, or the vice versa. I don't know. Apparently
So-
about tracking as well. If users want to be tracked by third-party apps or something, is being updated as well. The way it looks and feels.
Yep. You
Yeah.
can add. There's different gestures for. Essentially, you can
Yeah.
add songs to the queue.
Yeah.
Oh, it's looking like people have to opt into third-party tracking instead of opt out, though, which is interesting.
Yeah, but the thing with it is it's optional, right? It's never
Yeah.
mandated. Thing,
Yeah, it's
so
never
it,
mandated.
You know,
Right.
Apple does this, and developers should comply with it.
But who's to
But
say?
they don't necessarily have to. You
Yeah.
know, it's just like it's
Yeah.
essentially a flag that says, "Hey, this person doesn't want to be tracked, so you shouldn't track them."
Oh, okay.
But that doesn't mean that they're not
Yeah.
going to be tracked, right? So,
Yeah, well, right, of course.
Yeah.
but anyway, this update will be out later this spring. It is in beta at the moment, or beta. So,
Now, I guess the next article will be relevant to Asian users. Huawei has cut production big style. Well, this is a huge surprise to me. I mean, I was absolutely blown away when I saw this article.
but apparently
If
they
you
have a
can't-
screen reader.
Apparently they do. But now, if you can't tell by my voice that I'm being sarcastic, I'm being exceedingly sarcastic. It's hardly surprising that Huawei's cut production by a huge amount, considering that you can't get them in the States or Australia, or I think you can still get them in the UK. Not sure about the UK.
Can you? Really?
I
That
think so.
surprises me.
I think you can. But yes.
The
Huawei
article
is
saying
definitely...
Huawei's in trouble, but that's not news anymore.
Well, that's why, I think the poor old Huawei is definitely in trouble. But as Nimbus said, they've got a new screen reader, which apparently you can't swipe on. So, that's very good.
Yeah, it's been disseminated around. So if anybody is looking for that, email us and we'll get that thing to you. But it isn't okay, but it is apparently a new screen reader, and they've changed the names of a lot of the elements. So
Yeah.
not sure what all they've added or not added. I haven't actually played with it, but
Well, I did put it onto my phone.
On.
I did put it onto my phone, and then Sophos came up with a lot of different things, and I thought it probably best not to install at this point. So if anyone's wanting to do a demo of the new screen reader from Huawei, feel free to do so. That would be awesome.
yeah, you can install it on non-Huawei devices as well.
You
so
can.
It does not have to be on a Huawei
Huh,
device.
okay.
So there you
Wonder
go.
if it's more responsive than TalkBack. Wouldn't be worth it for me, probably, but...
No, I don't think it'll replace TalkBack somehow, or Jushio or any of the other ones at this point. But I could be wrong. Don't know. I haven't tried it. So Facebook and Mr. Zuckerberg are negotiating with the Nine Network, which is a conglomerate over here in Australia. Not having news on Facebook here down under, which I have been celebrating. Oh my lord, this is just the best thing. People unable to share out news articles on Facebook is just wonderful. Instead of having Facebook full of emojis and all that sort of stuff, now we don't have news either. Now the next thing to get rid of is emojis. That'd be brilliant. And we might actually have people updating with statuses. That'd be great. There you go. That'd be wonderful. I mean, but that was what Facebook was originally created to do.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It used to be a bulletin board type scenario. Now it's, I don't know what they do, but yeah. No, in all seriousness though, a lot of people are, I actually, my personal opinion about this is I honestly think Facebook's, and knowing Australians pretty well, I think Facebook's taking the complete wrong approach about this, because Australians are very good at saying stuff you will go and use something else. In fact, a lot of people are already starting to do that. So I think once a company thinks that they are too big for themselves, it can be a very dangerous, slippery slope. I really think that Facebook are doing the wrong thing. It'll be interesting to see what happens, but it's amazing, you know. Australians are actually having to do what they used to do and actually go to news websites and use apps like Guardian, and it's amazing. Like, this is things that we used to just do all the time.
And just took for granted, yeah.
Yeah, so they're actually looking up news sources as they should be. So I personally haven't missed it, but some people will probably be very not happy. But hasn't really affected me a huge amount, to be honest. So there you go.
And finally, our last article is about NVDA 20.4.
That's out, isn't it?
Very nice.
Yep, it is out now. And it contains a bunch of new features. So we have Chinese input methods, an update to libLouis, and the elements list, NVDA F7, now works in focus mode. Context-sensitive help is now available when pressing F1 in NVDA dialogues. Improvements to symbol pronunciation rules, speech dictionary, braille message and skim reading bug fixes, and improvements to Outlook, Teams, Visual Studio, Azure Data Studio, FooBar. On the web, there are improvements to Google Docs and greater supports for ARIA, plus many other important bug fixes and improvements. So if you're interested in that, definitely make sure that you check for updates. You can do that in the help menu. It should probably pop up as well.
Yeah.
Once you install it, they do recommend that you do a restart, because sometimes when you update, it causes strange things to happen. So if you notice anything odd after you update, definitely try to doing that restart.
Very good.
So definitely check that out. And there we go. We posted a link to what's new and the NV Access webpage. So I'll put that in the show notes. Okay, so let's talk about, what are we talking about? Narrator.
Narrator. And people's perceptions that Narrator isn't very good, Nim.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna, I'm gonna do a screen share, and then I will turn off NVDA and turn on Narrator, and we will see what we can do with it. And we'll mute everybody. All right, so we should have audio now from NVDA, and let's turn it off. There we go, and let's start up Narrator. And the way you start up Narrator is you hit Control, Windows, and the Enter key.
Narrator dialog, OK, button, Alt plus O, heads up. Narrator keyboard changes. We've updated the Narrator keyboard layout so it more closely matches the experience you may have had with other screen readers. Don't show again, space, checked. Turn off Narrate, OK. Google Chrome Canary, 2 running win.
Okay, so now I've turned off or I've checked that box, and it's not going to show me that thing again about the keyboard. And now I've got Narrator running. So.
Desktop list, recycle bin, 1 of 30.
Now I'm on the desktop.
Audacity, Belark,
I can navigate my desktop without any problems.
StreamYard, Google Chrome, 1 of 3.
So I'm in
StreamYard, Unigram, StreamYard, Unigram, Open Navig, Archive Group, BTG Podcast Crew, Marco Coralejo, still on my way home. Should.
So again, it works in Unigram. Works essentially
Not a
wherever
narrator
you want it
group.
to work.
Open navigation menu button at desktop tab narrator button.
So let's go to the
narrator heading level 1. Quick start. Narrator guide button. What's new? Settings button.
Let's go to the
Customize narrator.
settings.
Press Windows logo key plus Control plus N to access settings anytime. Alt S.
And it tells you that you can hit Windows Control N to access narrator settings anytime. So let's go in here.
Settings window. Use narrator. Turn on narrator. Toggle switch on.
Okay, you can turn on narrator.
Link. Open narrator home. Link. View the complete guide to narrator online.
So you can view the complete guide, and I'm just tabbing through. Now, if I want to, I can use the caps lock key and the right arrow key to move through this interface as well.
Startup options, heading level 2.
And that's what I'm doing now. I'm just using narrator key and right arrow.
Allow the shortcut key to start narrator checkbox checked. Start narrator after sign in for me checkbox unchecked. Start narrator before sign in for everyone checkbox unchecked. Show narrator home when narrator starts checkbox checked. Minimize narrator home to the system tray checkbox checked. Personalize narrator's voice. Choose a voice. Microsoft David.
Microsoft Zira, English, United States, 2 of 5.
Microsoft Mark, English, United States, 3 of 5.
So there are different voices, and if I install other languages, I would get even more voices than that.
Link, add more voices.
So for example, if I go into this link, it says add more voices, and I can easily add additional voices by adding additional languages. The Canadian, British, and Aussie languages provide you with additional voices, so you can install those and get additional voices. You can also use SAPI 5 voices with narrator as well. It'll show up there. You can use SAPI 5 voices. For example, you can get the Eloquence and I think Vocalizer add-on as a SAPI 5, so you can use those voices with narrator as well.
Change voice speed, slider at 10.
So I can easily change the voice speed.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Make it fast.
19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. Change voice pitch, slider at 10.
And I can adjust the voice pitch, again using up and down arrow.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20, 8, 11, 10. Change voice volume, slider at 100. Lower the volume of other apps when narrator is speaking.
So I've got
checkbox checked.
audio ducking options.
Select lower, uncheck. Select where
uncheck
you
that.
hear narrator's voice. Default audio device, combo box.
So I can change which audio device narrator is going to.
Change what you hear when reading and interacting. Change the level of detail narrator provides about text and
So these are
controls.
like verbosity
3.
is
All
I can
control
change these
details.
verbosity
Combo
options.
box. Collab. Change how capitalized text is read. Don't announce. Combo box. Increase pitch. Cap say cap. Increase pitch. Don't announce.
So I can change how capital letters are announced.
Have narrator's voice emphasize formatted text checkbox unchecked.
So I can enable this or disable this for formatted text.
Hear phonetics as you read by character checkbox unchecked. Space checked. Have narrator
that.
use punctuation to determine pauses when reading checkbox checked. Hear advanced detail, like help text, on buttons and other controls checkbox unchecked. Change the level of context narrator provides for buttons and other controls. 2. Adjust when narrator provides details about buttons and other controls. Before controls, combo box. Hear hints on how to interact with buttons and other controls checkbox checked. Space, unchecked. Hear narrator announce why an action can't be performed checkbox checked.
So as you can
Hear
hear,
only
there's
sounds
a lot
for
of
common
settings in
actions
here.
checkbox unchecked. Space, check. Have narrator be more efficient in Outlook, experimental, checkbox checked. Change what you hear when typing. Hear letters, numbers, and punctuation as you type checkbox checked. Hear words as you type checkbox checked. Hear function keys as you type checkbox unchecked.
And you can check or uncheck any of
Hear
these
arrow,
options.
tab, and other navigation keys as you type checkbox unchecked. Hear when toggle keys like caps lock and number lock are turned on or off checkbox checked. Hear shift, alt, and other modifier keys as you type checkbox unchecked. Choose keyboard settings, select keyboard layout, standard, combo box. collapsed.
So there's a standard and an advanced layout, so you can change how things are
Learn about the
set up.
different narrator keyboard layouts.
And there's a link to learn
Select
more.
narrator key, caps lock or insert, combo box.
You can select the caps lock or insert as your narrator key.
Lock the narrator key so I don't have to press it for each command. Checkbox unchecked. On touch keyboards, activate keys when I lift my finger. Checkbox unchecked. Space. Create your own keyboard commands. Use narrator cursor. Show the narrator cursor. Checkbox checked. Move my cursor with the narrator cursor as sync the narrator cursor and read and interact with the screen using the mouse. Checkbox. Select the narrator cursor. Navigation mode, normal. Use Braille, BRLTTY. New LGPLV, LibLewis. New LGP. Download and install Braille button. Manage your data and services. Get image descriptions, page titles, and popular links. Toggle switch on. Help make narrator better. Privacy stick. Get help. Give feedback.
So as you see, narrator has quite a lot of options. It is not
Home.
an NVDA. It is not
Search.
a
Narrator.
JAWS, but it does have a lot of options. Now let's just go on the web.
Connecting. StreamYard.
And I'm going to go to a new tab.
No item in view. New tab has finished loading. No next combo box. Store. Gmail.
All
Images.
So now I am in Google.
Search.
And I
Combo
just hit
edit.
letter E.
Press space to edit. End of line.
To go to the search box, and I'm going to edit. And let's search for, I don't know, let's search for Blind
Tech Guys.
Podcast.
Accessibility.
And that noise that you sometimes hear, that's scan mode on and scan
Blind
mode
Tech.
off. And when scan mode is on, that means that that's like your virtual cursor. You can navigate by H for headings, B for buttons, that kind of thing. When it's off, you can just tab through. That's like having the virtual cursor off or browse mode off. So that's like I can type now. Scan mode is off. And this is like, oh, it's on now. I can use arrow keys and regular heading commands and stuff. So this is like the narrator version of forms mode. So let's hit H.
Skip to search landmark. Navigation landmark. Search. Google. Press space to edit. Clear. Search. Getting.
Why is
New
that not
video.
working? Might be my keyboard
Web
layout.
result.
Oh, here we go.
Blind Tech Guys. Heading
Yep,
level
that was my
3.
keyboard layout. So now I'm navigating by
Podcasts.
headings.
Heading level 2. Web results. Blind Tech Guys on Apple Podcasts. Heading level 3.
So Blind Tech Guys on Apple Podcasts.
Blind Tech Guys. Transistor.fm. Heading level 3.
There we go. If I want to go to it, I'm just going to hit enter.
Empty document. This is a podcast RSS feed generated by Transistor.fm. It is meant for use by podcast apps using Blind Tech Guys. Heading level 1. Blind Tech Guys. Blind Tech Guys is here
And
to
now I'm
bridge.
just using up and down arrow keys to
Visit
navigate
podcast.
through.
Heading level 2 Android 12 preview developer build 1.
So as you can see, I'm able to navigate the web. Let's see if there are any buttons on this page.
Play button.
Yep, so I just hit B and there's a play button. So I can easily play my podcasts.
Pause button. Play button.
So there we go. I can easily hit play and pause. And now let's go to, real quick, before I stop this demo, let's go to, I don't know.
No item in view. Empty
Let's go
document.
to Twitter. Why shall we?
20. Latest. Skip to sec.
So now we're on my Twitter feed, and I'm going to hit the J and K keys to navigate, and I turned scan mode off.
Your home timeline. OnePlus Security retweeted Benchmark K at Hey Benchmark K. Promoted Comcast Business Android Community at Androids 12 minutes ago. Samsung Galaxy may soon use Wear OS instead of Tizen. Samsung Galaxy Watch Wear OS. Samsung.
Okay, I like this link. I'm going to retweet it out so everyone can see it.
Retweet. Menu. Your home timeline. Android.
There we go. I just retweeted it. And so, again, in web apps like this, Narrator works well. Now, you might want to, and as I do, you might want to turn off the speaking of characters, because as you see, every time I hit J, it starts to say J, and then it interrupts itself and goes to the next tweet. and that is because I have characters set to speak. If you turn that off, it will not do that. And by the way, these are not my default settings, but I did reset narrator to its defaults before the show. So let's go to, real quick, another web app. Let's just go to Gmail, and we'll just go through some emails.
No item in view.
So this is a Chrome issue. Every time I go to the address bar, it says no item in view.
GM. Button.
So let's go
Basic
to Gmail.
X
Let's go to my
unavailable.
forums.
In tilde. Group. Grave. Social. Grave. Table. Enter table. Enter table. 100. Grave accent. Table. Enter table. 72 by 8. Tilde. Table. Enter table. 100 by 8. Unread. Michael. VIPL.
So I'm in my forums list of emails and my forums bundle, and I can just hit up and down arrow keys to go through my
Unread.
emails.
Afik. Holly.
So these
Simon
are the emails
4.
all from my
Prime
email
Video
lists
Quest.
that I have.
Unread.
I never
Seek
read
hard.
most of these, but
Simon 7. PBU New. Unread. Daniel
There we
Malone.
go.
Blindad's Olympus voice recorder no longer available. 750.
uh-oh, it's no longer available. But let's say I wanted to read this. I'm just going to hit enter key.
Blindad's Olympus.
I'm going to hit the N to go to the first message here.
Daniel MALONEDM582714 via groups.io 7:15 p.m. 21 minutes ago. Not starred reply to all more to Blindad's show details --equals.
Oh, and I guess he didn't write anything in this email. All he did was put stuff in the subject. So, as I've said, it does work in Gmail. It works in Twitter. It works just about anywhere you might want to go.
Blind Tech Guys podcast. Google search. Blind Tech.
Let's go to our Google
NV
Doc. Let's
access.
see if it works in Google Docs. shall we?
StreamYard. Button. Basic HTML. Buzzsprout. Banner. StreamYard logo.
Let's
Narrator.
see here.
BTG show notes. Google. BTG. You are no longer editing near collaborators. New line.
All right, so I'm in Google Docs, and I can navigate around, and it tells me I'm
Slash.
no longer editing near collaborators.
L. Narrator. BTG show notes. Google Docs. Google Chrome Canary pane. BTG show notes. Blank.
Now,
No
it does
previous
work
text.
in,
Image. Getting description. Image. BTG show notes. Rename. Start. Add an document. Show chat. You are no longer editing near collaborator. Heading 1. Main topic. New line. Nimmer goes through narrator. Nimmer / Marco compares.
So these are our show notes. I'm able to navigate in Google Docs. Let's go to the menus.
Cat file. Menu. Share as. New N. Open O. Make a copy C.
So again, I'm able to navigate within Google Docs, and the same with Microsoft Word or Office apps or anything like that.
Marco.
So I think I'm just going to stop here with this demo of Narrator.
Kurt Manwaring is editing this paragraph.
Hey, stop editing where I'm editing.
Inbox. Table. Enter. Exit table. NV access.
All right.
First line unindented. Table. Inbox. Table. Enter table. 72 by 8. Inbox. Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout is banner. StreamYard logo. Edit. Blind Tech. Narrator. Connecting. StreamYard. Hide. Stop share.
And I'm going to stop sharing here.
Oh, very good. So yeah, it's quite. You can definitely do quite a lot with it, can't you?
And let's unmute Kurt, shall we? There we go.
I'm muted. Yay.
You were.
Yeah.
So yes, Narrator is a very full-featured screen reader. You can do quite a bit with it. Now, again, is it an NVDA? No. Is it a JAWS? No. But for the average user, I think, for what you need to do, write up a document. You want to be able to edit stuff in a Google Doc. You want to be able to, listen to music. You want to be able to do internet search. You can easily do that with Narrator.
Agree.
And I also find that it gets you out of jams too. So, if you ever get a place where JAWS or NVDA doesn't speak, turn on Narrator. It probably will. So.
Well, and more than enough to set up Windows too, if you're starting from scratch.
Yeah, well, I did set up Windows with it.
Yeah?
So, I think give it a try, and I think you'll be surprised with how far along that it has come and what all you can do with it. There's a lot of options that you can customize as I went through. Again, it's not the same level as other screen readers, but I would say for most users, it's more than adequate. So, and in some instances, it's actually better because I don't know if you've noticed, but I enabled the option for read, have sounds for a lot of elements. This is something that NVDA at present cannot do without an add-on, and it is something that really will increase your productivity. You don't have to hear buttons or links anymore. You can just have a little icon, a little earcon, a little sound play. And so just things like that, I think will, are even better than some existing screen readers. So check it out, and let us know what you think. And then we'll talk a little bit about, I don't know, Kirk, do you use NVDA or its screen review?
I've used its screen review a little bit, and it still kind of confuses me.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about NVDA screen review, and I will be happy to try to demo that. Because what you'll find is that it works quite well if you understand how it works.
I think I might be too used to the JAWS cursor. Or that's kind of my roadblock. It doesn't seem to, behave the same way all the time.
Yeah, so the JAWS cursor is sort of more of a flat. It's like a flat. It doesn't give you an idea of what the hierarchy of objects are on the screen, or even necessarily what a screen looks like. To some extent it does, but not really. If I were to compare NVDA's screen review, I would almost say it's probably more like the touch cursor, which I think is way better than the JAWS cursor anyway. Now, the reason I say that is the touch cursor will literally let you hit through every single element that is visible on the screen to JAWS. Whereas, especially in Windows 10, the JAWS cursor is, sometimes it works, sometimes it's got issues where it just doesn't want to read whatever's there.
Well, the problem with the JAWS cursor, mainly in Windows 10, is that half the time when you go to use it, nowadays, it'll just read blank.
It reads
Yeah.
blank.
Annoying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually.
It's very frustrating. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Whereas if you use the touch cursor will not have these problems.
No.
A lot of people don't really know the touch cursor, but if you're able to use the touch cursor, that will solve a lot of your issues that you may be having with the JAWS cursor.
And also another quick thing, Nim, and I was having a chat to somebody about this, a friend of mine locally about this morning actually. A lot of the time the JAWS and the way the JAWS cursor reads things is not how it appears on the screen,
Yeah.
per se, for a sighted person.
That's right.
So I'm one of these people that's very much, and this is why I like Android, or one of the reasons I like Android, is that a lot of the times what you're seeing is what everyone else is seeing. Unlike when you're using VoiceOver or JAWS,
Yes.
what you see is not what they see, because it's only reading specific elements. And that to me is annoying. I like the fact that some screen readers read everything. Well, they read what other people can see, and they don't change things around. And I think that's important, so...
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the different review modes for NVDA. Screen review is sort of what the JAWS cursor is, and it lets you view things anywhere that's on the screen. And as long as it's visible on your screen, NVDA screen review will be able to find that item. Now, with NVDA, you have to know is that things are hierarchical. So, for example, and the Mac does this too, actually. Except on the Mac, you used to have to interact and de-interact, and depending on how you have your voiceover settings, it's still that way. You interact with objects. So what is an object? It might be like a list of items, or it might be a landmark, or it might be something like, something with a bunch of other things in it. A table, for example. And if you want to see what's inside that object, inside that, that list, inside that table, you interacted with it. And the way that NVDA works, it's similar to that. They don't really call it interacting or de-interacting, but when you see the screen, it's kind of laid out similarly to that. So, for example, I'll do another screen share. Okay, so I've got NVDA up here. And
Rate 25, rate 20, rate 15, rate 10, rate 5, rate 0.
So hopefully that's slow enough. And I'm going to, so there's a few different commands. I'm going to give the desktop commands. The user guide will give you the keyboard reference will give you the laptop commands if you are used to that. And you can use the number pad keys. And on the number pad, you can use insert key or the NVDA key and the number 1 or the number 7 to switch between the various modes.
Screen review blank.
So
No next review mode.
Screen review.
Object review. Stop sharing.
The next one is object review.
No previous review. Screen review blank.
And depending on where you
Object
are.
review. Stop share. StreamYard desk.
For example, I'm in
Clickable
StreamYard right now. There's also a document review, which will allow you to review the entire document.
Object review. Document review. Markup.
There we go. So let's go to the screen review.
Screen review blank.
There we go. And now I'm going to hit the insert key, the NVDA key, and I'm going to use my number 4, number 6, up, down. Let's see what we
Get in description. Markup. Mute microphone. Turn on camera mode. Mic and camera settings. Stop sharing. Share button. Invite a guest mode. Leave studio. Having issues. Link.
So these are all items that are on my screen at the moment.
Leave studio link visited.
These items. So I'm going to hit. I'm going to go up above this. I'm going to get out of this. Essentially, this text.
Main landmark.
And what's above it, the object that is containing all these items that I was just reading off, is the main landmark. So if I hit down again.
No description available graphic.
Now I'm inside the main
Full
landmark.
screen button. Get in description button.
And all these items are in the main landmark. If I hit insert 8 or up arrow, I'm going to go up.
Main landmark.
Here's a main landmark.
Complementary landmark.
So
dialog. Complement main landmark. No previous.
There's different landmarks on the page, and these are like the top level elements on the page. So that's why they show up first.
Complement main landmark.
Well, let's say I want to see what else is on my screen that's above that in a hierarchical way. What's above that?
StreamYard document.
So I'm in a StreamYard document. Let's go to the left and right and see if there's anything else.
No previous, no next.
No previous, no next. This is StreamYard. Let's go up again.
StreamYard desktop content shared Google Chrome Canary window. Running applications toolbar. StreamYard unknown. Settings window. Unknown. Desktop list. No next. Unknown. Mac unknown. Microsoft Store window.
So these are all items that
unknown Windows input experience window. StreamYard desktop content shared Google Chrome Canary window. Running applications toolbar. Show desktop button. Action center. 20 system clock. 9 touch keyboard. Windows ink work. User promoted task view button. Desktop window.
And let's go up again.
No next. No previous. No containing object.
Desktop window. And that's like my main, very top window.
Windows input text. New notification. StreamYard start button. StreamYard.com is sharing your screen and audio window. System menu bar contains stop sharing button. StreamYard.com is stop sharing button.
And here we go. I'm gonna hit
stop sharing button.
And you've stopped.
And I've stopped sharing. And the way I did that, hit the left click key, which is the slash on the number pad right next to the number lock key, on or off. So if you want to be able to access all the different things that are on your screen, and you want to know how things are on your screen are laid out, and you want to sort of navigate them in a hierarchical way, which is what NVDA is allowing you to do, then you use that screen review. The document review is for a document, for a website, for a Word document. You can read through that Word document using the document review. And the object review is just for an object or for objects that may be on the screen, so like in a dialog box or something like that. So hopefully it makes some kind of sense to you, but that is NVDA's different review modes. I find that they work pretty well, and they will allow you to access most things that are on the screen. They are not the same as the JAWS touch cursor. Really, the equivalent of the JAWS touch cursor is actually swiping on a touch screen. And NVDA doesn't really let you do that, whereas the JAWS does have that touch cursor to be able to actually go element by element, object by object. And this is even different than the tab key. This is actually what scan mode with Narrator does. Essentially, it's pretty much the equivalent to when you hit caps lock right arrow or left arrow. It's basically the touch cursor. So
very nice.
I don't know if Marco, you want to demonstrate the JAWS cursor and see if that works. And
I'm happy to do that.
a little bit about that.
Let's see if we can get that up and running. I'll just do a share. Just make sure you guys are muted. Alright, so we are in share mode now. And we'll do a insert JAWS cursor with the JAWS cursor, and hopefully all going well, which is what Nima and I were sort of saying earlier, it will actually read something. So let's see how we go with this. So I'm just arrowing down at the moment. Okay, so it's essentially lining everything up across the screen, and you're able to arrow down. And invisible kind of does the same sort of thing. I sometimes use the invisible one because sometimes it'll read stuff that doesn't come up under the JAWS cursor. It essentially reads everything as well. So let's go into another window and see how we go. Have I got anything else? Alright, so I've got an article here. This should probably read exactly the same. That's reading out pretty well. Let's try Unigram. Oh, I'm pressing it. Oh, no, it's working. So it kind of does an okay job, but I mean, obviously it's not reading out everything that's there. And that's one thing that really annoys me about this whole JAWS cursor thing, I have to say. I tend not to use it very much. I've actually started using the NVDA one more, because I think it's more thorough, but... Just get out of this share. Alright, so I've stopped sharing. Bring you guys back in.
Very good. There we go. Kurt's back. Nope, he's still muted.
Oop, is he back?
Hello.
There we go.
He's back.
So that's basically a very quick run through of the JAWS cursor. It's all right. I find it sometimes more intuitive than others. Sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
It's one of these things. I mean, I tend to use, funnily enough, all three screen readers, Nvda, Narrator, and JAWS in different contexts. It just depends on what I'm doing.
I find the JAWS cursor to be really flat and makes it a lot harder to get to any part of the screen that you might want. So, I mean, for example, using the Nvda one, if I want to get to a very specific part of an app or a page or whatever, I can easily do that, as I demonstrated. Because everything is so hierarchical, you can actually, here's a main landmark, and everything that is in that landmark is underneath.
Well, the other thing I find annoying about the JAWS one is it doesn't always read out everything that's there. You know, for example, that there's a button there, and if you arrow, and I should have probably done this, but anyway, if you arrow left and right, it'll say space, which is really annoying. So you can't actually, you used to be able to do it easily. Now, I'm not sure if it's a JAWS thing or a Windows 10 thing, but it doesn't always read out things as they should be. It's annoying.
But this is where you want that touch cursor, because I think that will literally hit every element on the screen.
Yeah. So. But it used to be a lot easier just to do it with just, the JAWS. You didn't have to do too much, and now you've got to do more. So it's kind of, I don't know. It's become a little bit more annoying. So it's just the way it is. But that's why I said before, I think in a lot of different scenarios, you can use all three for one thing or another. And I think that's why it's important that people learn even the basics of using all three screen readers. I think it's good to know, just in case you need it. And then if one of them locks up, then you can use the other one as well, and that will get you out of a lot of trouble. Potentially. Yeah,
and Narrator tends to be that screen reader, but it's actually got quite responsive in web apps. So even I will actually use Narrator now these days just to navigate things like Gmail or other web apps.
Oh, for web apps, it's fantastic. Internet.
It's better than NVDA.
It's very prompt. It's very prompt.
It's quite responsive. It depends. I mean, I'm not going to say Narrator is better than NVDA in all cases, but it can certainly be.
Well, I'll give you an example, Kurt. Last week, when you're doing the demonstration of the task manager, if you're using Narrator in that is immediate. There's no hesitation or anything. You use JAWS and that thing.
Yeah, it's a little
be sitting
laggy
there for a couple of seconds, or it's just annoying. So it's definitely responsive. No doubt about it.
Yeah. Well, I got to figure out this touch cursor. That looks pretty useful.
Yeah, I believe that the hotkey is Shift and the plus key.
And semicolon on the laptop, it looks like the JAWS key and semicolon and Shift.
Yeah. But if you use that touch cursor, it's essentially like if you had an iPhone, for example, and you took a finger and you just swiped from the top left all the way to the bottom right. You just kept swiping right, and it will literally hit every single element on the screen. You can even do it. I mean, if you had a touch screen, you can just swipe with JAWS, and it's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Not the most efficient way to get to things, but it will get to things that other cursors will not read or will not read easily. So. Okay, let's get to the Did You Know section. And this is something that I actually discovered with Lazarillo, because I'm always looking at apps, playing with apps, exploring apps, and while I still find Lazarillo to be very verbose, and I still think that Lazarillo is not as customizable as I would like, one of the good things about Lazarillo is that it will allow you to find bus stops. And it will let you not just find them, but actually navigate to them.
Excuse me.
Uh-oh. What happened to the mute button there, Kurt?
Didn't get there fast enough. Was trying.
What was it? The Prime Minister, the British Prime Minister, asked Angela Merkel or whatever, the German Prime Minister, when they were on a Zoom call together. He asked her to mute her computer. So, everybody's dealing with this, I guess, now.
Absolutely. Hey, it's part of COVID.
I was trying. I was moving over there, and it just wasn't quite.
But anyway, it's amusing. What you do is you go into Lazarillo, you open it up, and then there's a list of different categories, and you click on the transport, tap on the transport option. And when you tap on the transport option, it'll bring up the bus stops that are near you. So you find the bus stop near you. You tap on the one that you'd like to go to, and you tap on that, and then you get options that come up. Well, one of the options is navigate to that bus stop. And so then it'll ask you which app do you want to use to navigate there. You can use Lazarillo or Google Maps or whatever. And then it'll start giving you directions to that bus stop. And I actually find it pretty accurate. So why is this important? Well, there's a lot of bus stops here that don't have any kind of bus benches, any shelters, anything like that, and they're very difficult to find. So if you don't even know a bus stop is there, then you don't know that you should be standing at where the bus stop is, because there's no way to find it. If you're
Well, we
lucky,
have that
there's
same
a pole.
problem here. Yeah, we maybe get a pole, and that's it for about 2/3 of them.
But unfortunately, there's lots of poles out there. So just because you got a pole, which pole is it? So if you use Lazarillo, it will help you, and it's probably the only one that I've found that will do this. It will actually navigate, will actually guide you to, because this is one of the problems with Google Maps, especially when you use transit directions. It'll say walk to blah, 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 whatever bus stop. But it doesn't actually tell you where that bus stop is, doesn't actually tell you how to get to that bus stop. It doesn't tell you how far away that bus stop, well, it kind of tells you how far away it is, but it doesn't tell you what side of the street it's on.
Yeah, but half the
So-
time when you're using that app as well, you might have walked way past it, maybe 20 meters up the road, and then it says that you've walked past it. It's not the most, it's not that reliable.
What is that, Google Maps?
Yeah, yeah. It's just not reliable. It doesn't tell you where it is or anything. Like you said, it's just kind of annoying.
I know, yeah, it doesn't actually tell you, it doesn't tell you when you've gotten to it, or, well, it doesn't tell you when you've walked
Well, what
past
I
it
end
either,
up
but it doesn't
usually
tell you anything,
using-
really.
Yeah, over here, what I end up usually doing is using Move It, but again, that might be about 10 or 20 meters out, so you kind of have to still go and feel around and, kind of
Yeah, and I
annoying.
also use Move It, but I haven't figured out how to get Move It, and maybe, I don't know, you can demo that or something, but I haven't figured out how to get Move It to actually guide to a particular bus stop. Or
Yeah,
whether
you've
it
got
will
to
tell you what side of
yeah.
the street that bus stop is on.
It won't tell you that, but it will tell you when you've gone past it, but the problem is you still need to know what side you're supposed to be on, and sometimes that can be confusing, so it's
Particularly
not...
in a new area. If you don't know the area
Yeah.
and you're supposed to be going to somewhere, you're getting off at a bus stop you've never been at before,
Yeah.
then you're not really sure, because
it's hard.
Google Maps doesn't actually tell you what direction that bus will be going in. So it's,
No.
I mean, that would be helpful in itself, but it doesn't even do that. And then you don't know
No.
if it's on one side of the street or the other side. But Lazarillo will actually guide you directly to that bus stop. Now, even if it's not 100%, it's not, you're still might be, I don't know, a couple of meters off. At least you're close enough to where if you start waving down the bus when it comes, at least they'll have an idea, hey, this person wants a bus stop. So, it's about as close as we can get to a bus
See,
stop.
in this country, you've got to be really quite careful because, and this is why I'm always very pedantic, especially with buses. Trams and stuff don't matter because they're a bit more, it works a bit differently. But buses, you actually really have to be standing right where that pole is.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, they will just go straight past you. If
That's
you're
happened to
5 or
me
10
many
meters
times,
off,
yeah.
they will go straight past you here in this country. It's very frustrating. So, yeah.
Well, give that Lazarillo a try. That's my Did You Know tip for this week. So give that Lazarillo a try at least. As I said, I've still got my issues with it that still haven't been resolved. But at least for this purpose, it can work quite well. And, if you just need a basic navigation app and you're not looking for some of the options that Nearby Explorer had, it's a great app. Definitely use it.
Yeah, I haven't. I should have a look at that actually, Nim, because I haven't played around with that side of things. Because last time I tried it, it was a bit. Well, let's just say it was rather inaccurate. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I had that issue too, but that was like 4 or 5
That was
months
quite a few
ago.
months ago now.
It seems to be relatively accurate here. It's just that it just doesn't. It's too verbose for my liking.
Well, that's exactly what I found. It tells me too much that I don't really need. It's just... It even tells me when I've gone past a bus stop, which, I don't know.
Yeah, it'll tell
It's
you
kind of
when
annoying.
you've gone past it. 20 meters past it, 50 meters past it. It's like, okay, I'm already past it. I don't need to keep...
It seems to think that maybe I want to turn back for some reason. Hey,
Yeah.
I don't. Very
It
annoying.
takes forever to load, too. The first, like, if you're opening it up for the first time after you've booted up your phone, at least on my end, it seems to take a few minutes to, like, actually open up the app, which is unusual.
Yeah, it doesn't here on my end, but it could be that it's obtaining a GPS fix and data. I don't know, but it certainly doesn't on my end.
I haven't had that issue. The only issue I generally have, as we've discussed, is the verboseness of the app. That's just does my head in. So, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, for the two of you that are still here, thank you for joining us.
Oh, we've got 2 left.
Very
Got two
good.
left. We started
Oh,
with 5,
very
and we've been going
good.
downhill
Wow.
Since then.
Gee, that's not a good. That's not a good thing, is it? Wow.
I suppose not.
Hey, where are the listener emails?
We have no listener emails.
What?
No, but we did get 33 spam messages from.
It's not M-Date again.
No, it's some fun something. FUN something. Fun. I don't.
Oh, was that the PalPay one?
Yeah, no.
Fund me pay PalPay. Yeah.
Tons and
Very
tons
good.
of fun
Go
something
fund
or other.
us.
So no, not fun. FUN.
And not fun.
or something like that.
yeah.
Something like that.
Maybe from Jennifer 6969 or
They
something.
did look
Right.
like dating ones.
Yeah.
They actually did look like dating ones. So
Oh, very good.
anyway, you know, if you're from there, thank you for your emails. If you're any of our actual listeners, we're very disappointed that we haven't gotten any emails. And
Right,
if you don't
it
like
says
this
so.
podcast, if you guys are like bored with it, why don't you reach out and tell us what you actually want us to cover? We don't really know.
Yeah.
So
That would be
reach out
good. And
to us
actually,
let us
we
know.
did put a message up on the groups, and it is something that we really do value. I think as a crew is knowing what people want to hear. I mean, we can keep coming up with topics and stuff every week, but we don't really know what listeners want. I mean, we do, and this is being pretty frank, really. We do tend to hear from the same people, which is great. But we'd actually, I mean, we're getting a couple of hundred downloads in a couple of days, so it'd be great if we actually heard from people that we don't know about that exist. What do you want to hear? What do you want to learn more about? You know, that would be
That's
cool.
right. Yep.
So.
Yeah.
If you do appreciate this podcast, check out our donation site. And I do want to thank again Steve from Melbourne, Australia,
yes.
for his $25 donation.
Yeah, thank you, Steve.
And definitely appreciate that. I mentioned that on the midweek podcast,
Midweek.
but I want to throw it out here again. So thank you very much for that donation. If you do appreciate the podcast, visit our website, blindtechguys.com. There'll be a donate button on there, so check that out. And you can email us, or you can fill out our feedback form, or you can email us contact@blindtechguys.com.
And you'll also find that if you do visit the website, you'll be able to navigate via headings, and should be able to find all that information fairly easily. And if you, for some reason, forget the email address, just use the contact form. It all comes into the same inbox, which is very good.
That's right. All right. Well, I want to thank all of you guys for listening. Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Kurt. And we'll see you guys next week. Take care, everyone.
All right.
Thank you very much, Nima, and listeners. Enjoy your week. Have a great tech week, and we'll catch you next week.
See you next week. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.